Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, I know it's Spicy Sunday, but launch lined up and weather sucks here, and I have a massive freaking headache. So, I took the easy route and we're going to cover a rocket launch. So, uh, yeah, we'll be watching another batch of Starlink satellites going up, but we'll talk more about that in a minute. To begin, let's say hello to everyone, and then we'll get right into it. You were so cute, gay, that one. What? Uh, no comment. Doc Mama, what's up? Picture of the prototype for X whatever, the new Twitter logo. Hey, Tweety. What's up, Thor? I agree with Plunders. Don't work too hard, Thor. What's up, Sean? um, we were talking about steak. Like, I can be forgiven for steak. We were talking about good steak. And it's all Blanders' fault. Even though he just like showed up and it had nothing to do with him whatsoever. But it's still all his fault because that makes it more fun. Shit, where am I at? Hello, Barbara. Exactly. I have a 5-minute buffer, so I'm perfectly on time. I actually wasn't watching chat this time. Para, hello, hello. Hey, Daisy. Spaceship go honk honk. I think you have your spaceship confused with something else, dear. But I mean, Hong Kong works for me. Sounds like I just said Hong Kong, and we're not doing a Hong Kong launch. This is a SpaceX launch. No, it's not even that. We had a storm roll through and we got like 3 minutes of light rain, and now it's just built and built and built, and it's driving me insane. So, what's up, Josh? How you doing, buddy? What's up, Frog? It is. It is. Hey, Scad. You see it out? You see it outside yet? No, we still got some time. There's where I was at. No, did it honk honk? Honk? Meow? It all works. We can honk at the rockets. I don't care. I'm not the arbiter of rocket noises. As long as we have our puffy stuff, we're fine. No, we should be about checking. We should be about 10 minutes out. Mission Control doesn't have anything yet. I'm looking at radars and stuff like that on my end too. I don't see anything that's crazy, but there's a lot of turbulent weather across the United States. So I do know. That's a good show. Like, I didn't watch many shows, but that's one of the ones I did watch. So let me check weather real quick again. Nothing looks. How's it look on the ground there since you guys are there? You and I assume Steve will be by at some point, if he's awake yet. I just wanted to extend too last night. Thank you guys all for hanging out with us. Digger had an awesome time, uh, and I had a good time despite trying to close out the stream for nearly 50 minutes. Nearly 50 minutes. Uh, but they're good people, and we had a lot of fun. I was happy to do it. Is getting all the pop-up rain. Yeah. So it looked like hell earlier, and I went out with equipment to try and get some lightning pictures and that kind of shit. So, huh? We can talk more about that later. Um, if Brian shows up, he'll be all excited. It looked like hell, and I was gonna go out and get some lightning pictures, and we just got nothing. Just little rain, little bit of rain. They're picking up on it. They're doing more and more of it. So, oh, Gaza's live. Okay. Uh, shit. I just heard Mission Control say something. It actually looks like we have a really good spot to launch. Like there's shit weather behind it, but it looks like our weather looks pretty good. 10:05. Yeah, they should be able to get out. Of course, there's a storm out, so you have to worry about the recovery drone ship. Sounds good. Hey, Mystic. Huh. Yeah, they've really picked up on the censorship train. So perfect. And just on time, we're getting. Give me one moment here. They're pulling back to strong back, so we are well underway. You guys know how this goes now. I am actually just gonna mute this guy and I'll just talk. So we've all seen this type of thing, and where we're at in the countdown is somewhere between this engine chill and command flight computer. So we're somewhere in that general vicinity. Now it's dark-ish. Turbulent bitch, but no. Well, I appreciate it, Bobby. I appreciate you trying. Normal mission profile. We're gonna have the ascent, stage set, the flip. The fairing will separate and then come back to Earth. And the payload will then go to its destination orbit. So, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Then we'll have our normal entry burn. We'll see it land, and it will land on an autonomous drone ship. I believe, of course, I still love yous out there, but I didn't look to see what drone ship's out right now. And then we get into the normal post-launch. We'll talk about that when we get there. So this is a pretty standard Falcon 9. It's launched 6 times prior, so it's been reused several times. It is taking basically Starlink's. Just making sure. Yeah. So this is the 6th flight for the booster. It's previously launched CRS-26, which I actually covered. OneWeb Launch 16, Intelsat IS-40e, and 2 separate Starlink missions. So this is a flight-proven booster. So that's good. And this one's been scrubbed a couple times because of different things, but mostly weather. So we're hoping for a good launch today. Hey, what's up, man, bud? Um, so that's kind of where we're at. So we see our puffy stuff. So that's a good sign. Good sign. And we're about T minus 2 minutes. Everything still looks good for go. Again, the critical time will be that 1 minute mark. We'll start to see when if they hand it over to the flight computers, but everything is go for now. So there's a snake on your porch for some reason. Ugh, I hate snakes. Um, so it's already loaded with fuel. We would have both loads of RP1 and liquid oxygen. So those would both be already loaded in full. Um, and the cryo temperature of the LOX with the atmosphere, the hot, muggy Florida atmosphere, is what gives you that smoke or puffy stuff coming off the side of the rocket. You also will get shit that looks like a depressed vent. We'll hope for the best. So that that big cloud, sometimes it will be a pressure vent. So yes, we are 1 minute away. T minus 102. So it's in startup. So the flight computers have taken control of the vehicle. So we should have a good launch. So that is a vent. Uh, when the oxygen turns into gas, when it goes from a liquid to a gas, it expands. Of course, when you expand in a closed container or a pressure vessel like that, then you have to let off some of the pressure. So T minus 30 seconds. So as normal, during the normal launch procedure, I will shut up and admire it with you, and then we'll talk about it after it's airborne. So go SpaceX, go Falcon 9. We have a good one. Some cloud cover, but we have a good liftoff. Um, so we're heading quickly towards that max Q point. So man bun, no comment, but yes. Uh, wow, that's beautiful. So that's those 9 Merlin engines at full power, and damn, they look gorgeous. Gives it a nice background. There's a little bit of cloud cover, but for the most part, it being dark in Florida right now, we can start to see it. So there we see it punch into the clouds. So this is max Q. This is the max aerodynamic load on the rocket. So this is the point where the atmosphere is shit. That didn't look good. Uh, huh. I wonder if that was just going through those high level clouds, but that looked. Sorry, I'm trying to listen to mission control too. No, we have a good. We got a good flame. So, but anyways, yeah, max Q is the max pressure from the atmosphere mixed with the max speed. So it's the max that the rocket combines the forces. So that's the most critical time, and that's why at Miko, when it looked like we possibly had a flame out, it was concerning because that's the most likely point for the rocket to break up if it were going to. So, nope, no Challenger explosion. There's no humans on this flight, so we should be good there. I know there's no audio blenders. I'm talking. Yes, exactly. Sorry, I'm trying to listen and talk about it. And I understand there's no audio, but I didn't want to listen to him. I gotta find a feed that doesn't have it, any talking on it. But so so you just saw a good stage separation. So we'll start seeing that first stage come back down to Earth, um, and we'll start seeing that second stage going to its orbit. Again, this is that vacuum optimized engine, so the combustion chamber is in a vacuum, so the gases don't just escape and don't provide any thrust. So now we're doing our orbital entry burn, and there's our fairing sep. So those are the Starlink satellites that were the payload for tonight's mission. So the left side is that first stage coming back to Earth, and it's going to land on the autonomous drone ship. The right side has a great view of our sun glinting off the atmosphere. And then they're changing the orientation of the camera to make it not as bright. So again, on the left, we have that first stage coming back through the atmosphere. Those titanium grid fins steer it without having to have uh, any external vents or anything like that. Um, those flakes you see coming off are ice on the engines, um, because there's a lot of water in the atmosphere, and generally we don't see launches. They wanted to get them up for some reason, but generally don't see launches when we have that much moisture or that many high level clouds in the atmosphere. So that's what you're seeing there. You're seeing the freezing, condensing, and then between the cold gas thrusters and maybe the vectoring of the motors, you're seeing the ice break away. So yeah, always get them up. So again, on that right side, that's a vacuum optimized engine, bigger bell. So you'll see a bigger physical engine to accommodate. So wonder how many times they have to replace those grid fins. The titanium size isn't cheap. So they fly them as many times as they do for the booster. So um, that's an odd camera, but I'll take it. uh, they leave them on the booster. Elon, uh, he mills them out of a single chunk of titanium. So they are one single piece of titanium that is milled down to those grid fins. And those grid fins are rather large. I forget the actual dimensions of it, but yeah, they're rather large. So a piece of titanium like that is not cheap, as you said. But he built them for longevity and up to 10 launches. So they are a single piece of titanium that is milled down, and there are 4 of them on each craft. So now we're starting to see the entry burn. So that middle engine is lighting to slow the spacecraft down, and we can see the speed is just dropping right off as our altitude is going down. It's about 3 seconds generally, depending on mission profile. So we should see it shut down right about now. And they won't show anything because can't see anything right now until it gets back in. Not the easiest material to work with either. Yes. Yeah. But he wanted it to stand up to it. So it is throbbing. It is absolutely throbbing. So that is that vacuum engine, and that's putting it into its orbital inclination. Again, I don't know what their mission profile is or where they're specifically putting these, but you'll see that light a few different times to get them in the right proximity. Then they'll let the pin loose on the stack of Starlink satellites, and they will drift apart. And it takes a considerable amount of time for them to get into their final orbits, but we'll probably see that as well. Um, so now we're starting to see that speed on the left is stage 1 telemetry, so we're at about 1,000 kilometers an hour, and it's about 5 kilometers off the surface. So we're slowing down, and not sure how much we'll see on the camera, but so there's the relight of those engines for the final touchdown, and we'll see those landing legs deploy very, very shortly. Uh, and there's a view from the drone ship, and landing legs down now. And damn near perfect as always. Beautiful to watch every time. Never gets old. So the drone ship communicates with the rocket itself, and they position each other so that they can mate up pretty easily. So, but yes, they are. The drone ship is autonomous. The rocket is on internal guidance, so they communicate without any intervention. So we just hit SECO as we were. SECO is the second engine cutoff, so that means we're in the right orbital proximity. There'll be a couple more burns, but they'll be at later times. Yeah, I'm glad they fixed the drone ship losing connection too. That was really annoying to wait. Blanders made me log off. Blanders, are you having trouble, bud? Oh, that sucks. Yeah, there is no question that YouTube is on their censorship game hard right now. Uh, okay, so that was the mission. I think it's cool. So let me grab a video real quick, and I'll show you the Starlinks separating. Uh, they used to do it. They used to show it, but then it can be up to an hour before they deploy. Um, so yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. There's one I use all the time, and I'm looking for the damn thing. Yeah, this is a good one. Okay, so this is basically thank you to space.com. This is basically the same mission profile. See, we are T plus 1 hour, 2 minutes and 48 seconds. And so we're past the second engine start. So we had a final burn that put us in the correct position, and then we get deployment. So this one is a little past an hour in. We can see our speed and altitude is right where we want it. And the way that they do this is pretty cool. So.
And welcome back
Oh,
to
you
our
did?
broadcast
Okay.
for our 29th Starlink mission. If you're just joining us.
Oh, shit. I wanted to show something then. So there's a pin right here. They basically pulled this pin. He wanted it with the least amount of mechanical parts to reduce failures because it costs a lot of money to throw something into space. So, oh, no question. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Gross. So basically this pin just drops out and they take time to expand. So we'll watch it now.
And if you're just joining us, we had a successful liftoff from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station at 2:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Then successful stage separation. Recovered our first stage for the second time on our drone ship named Just Read the Instructions, and had 2 successful second stage Merlin vacuum engine startups. So we had some video shots there of the second stage. We're awaiting our next major event, which will be payload deployment of the Starlink satellites. Now, over the last coast phase, we've started to spin the second stage a little bit. You can actually see maybe the sun might pop into frame there. And that's to help those Starlink satellites space themselves out after payload deployment. And here's a shot of the top of the second stage, camera looking up at the Starlink satellites.
So one of the things in space is everything has to be done over time. You can't do anything quickly in space. So
coming up, payload deployment.
So we'll see that pin drop. At some point, maybe. And there's the pin. And see, they just kind of drift out of there.
Of payload deployment, you saw
so there's
mechanism
46.
Away, and now the Starlink satellites starting to make their way away from the second stage. Shortly, they will deploy their solar array. Wow, that's a beautiful shot of Earthrise in the background.
So there's the two stacks of satellites. There are usually about 46.
Weeks, they'll start to distance themselves out. They've got onboard ion thrusters, and that'll help them make their way into their final operational orbit.
And with that successful deployment of our satellites, we'll bring today's...
So, yeah, so it can take quite a bit of time to get them in the correct orbit, but they have independent thrusters. They drift, and they continue to drift apart. So then once they get far enough apart to use their thrusters and raise their orbit, they do so. It's really kind of a genius process. It's really cool. The way he solves problems like that. So, but yeah, so another successful launch for SpaceX, and hell, I mean, I lost track of what number this is. There's been a lot. So great job, and it never gets old. So maybe, but. That's going to be it for me tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I just wanted to, shelf life is, I think it's a little bit longer than that. 4 to 5 years is my thought. And although there are a ton of them up there, one of the things is that these deorbit and they burn up in our atmosphere. So, that's one of the pluses, whereas some of the shit people are putting up there does not have that feature. So, all right, y'all. Well, thanks for joining me tonight. I hope y'all have a wonderful evening, and we will catch you tomorrow. Bye-bye.